Okay, we're live. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the fourth live show of the Dad Readers League. And tonight we are going to talk about They Never Learn by Layne Fargo. I don't know how to pronounce her name. So with me, I have Q, Erica, and actually Cha, but I don't know what happened to Cha. Maybe her internet connection is like having a, or she has a technical difficulty as of the moment. So tonight, Erica will be the one who's going to host the whole live show. So I'm going to give the manubela to her. So, Erica,
Okay. Yay. Hello. My name's Erica. I guess we'll start with the summary and medyo convoluted kasi yung plot. So I'm just gonna read off of Goodreads. So the book is They Never Learn by Layne Fargo. The blurb on the back goes, Scarlett Clark is an exceptional English professor, but she's even better at getting away with murder. Each year, she searches for the worst man at Gormand University and plots his well-deserved demise. Thanks to her meticulous planning, she avoided drawing attention to herself, but as she's preparing for her biggest kill yet, the school starts probing into the growing body count on campus. Determined to keep her enemies close, Scarlett insinuates herself into the investigation and charms the woman in charge, Dr. Mina Pierce. Everything's going according to her master plan until she loses control with her latest victim, putting her secret life at risk of exposure. Meanwhile, Gorman's student Carly Schiller is just trying to survive her freshman year. Finally free of her emotionally abusive father, all Carly wants is to focus on her studies and fade into the background. Her new roommate has other ideas. Allison Hadley is cool and confident, everything Carly wishes she could be, and the two girls quickly form an intense friendship. So when Allison is sexually assaulted at a party, Carly becomes obsessed with making the attacker pay and turning her fantasies about revenge into a reality. So I did prepare questions, and I think let's just go right into it and parang take turns answering and at the same time just kind of hop on when you want to add to something that the other person said. So the first question is, did the switching POVs and dual timeline work for you? What was your reaction to the plot twist at the middle?
I'm going to answer
Um,
first.
oh, sure.
Okay, so personally, I like the dual POV because it really gives perspective as to what was happening to both characters. And personally, I am pretty biased with books with that kind of point of views. That's the reason why I love Flip because I really like as to like how each character react to a situation, and I really like as it was built up. The fact that at the very beginning they still don't know each other and then they know each other, that kind of stuff. I really like it. And also, when it comes to the plot twist, to be honest, it's not really a plot twist for me. It's quite like obvious. So, I don't find it to be like shocking, to be completely honest. And that's basically it.
Uh, Thank you, Moon. How about you, Q?
Okay. I had no idea. I had no idea what I was studying. I was just like, I was honestly waiting for the two characters to meet in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But once we went to the middle, she revealed that ano pala no, that they're just the same person. And I remember putting the book down. I was just like, wait, okay. So everything suddenly clicked and reconciled. And to be honest, I really didn't mind the multiple point of views that happen in this book because once we found out about that they're just the same person, suddenly everything made sense. Like I was able to make sense now of the how the book works, and it was very interesting to see uh, the different sides, like from a very anxious girl to somebody who is very confident, someone who is dressed in red, very very firm with her convictions. So yeah, that's what I think.
Hello. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Q. Welcome back, Cha. Do you want to answer the first
Wala
question
ako.
or yeah?
Um, siguro yung ano, yung unang first impression ko talaga dun sa book nung, first chapters pa lang, sabi ko, "What if iisang tao lang sila?" And ayun nga, nung nag-message ka sa'kin, Erica, na parang there's something happened, sabi ko, "Hindi kaya hindi kaya tama yung hinala ko?" Pero ano, parang ang ganda lang nung character development, yun katulad nga ng sabi ni Q from a very awkward, very shy, aloof teenager, and then ayun naging fierce na siya. Siguro din dahil sa mga encounter niya, experience niya sa men.
Yeah, I agree. Ano, like parang parang magkaiba talaga silang tao eh, no?
Mm,
si,
Yeah,
si Carly
definitely.
and si Scarlett. So, understandable dun sa mga nalinlang. Tulad ko kasi nalinlang din ako. Hi Nika.
Hi.
Nandun kami sa first question. Do you want to answer
Sorry, what was the first question
or
again?
about the switching POVs? Like, what did you think of it, and what was your reaction to the plot twist in the middle?
Oh, I really like yung setup niya, yung pag-switch ng POVs kasi parang actually nung una nahihirapan akong get into yung point of view ni Carly kasi parang mas interested ako sa point of view ni Scarlett. Tapos parang bago yung plot twist, I was starting to feel na what's the point of Carly's point of view? Kasi parang sobrang walang connection, tas sobrang hindi siya exciting. But when it came to the plot twist, I already had like a feeling then, but I really, really liked how the author was able to merge them. Parang sobrang smooth nung pag-transition niya from Carly to Scarlett. So, ayun, nakakatuwa siya. I really, really like the writing style and I really liked how the two stories merged into one.
Mhm. Yeah. Ako I think kami lang ni Q yung hindi naka-call nung twist. Kasi
Yeah,
I personally was really expecting na magti-team up sila. And I was like, oh my God, girl boss fantasy, ganon. Girl
true.
boss revenge fantasy.
That's really what I thought. I was thinking. I think there was a part where Scarlett was walking towards the house of her latest victim, of her biggest kill, and then she sees
Mhm.
someone. She sees the two students huddling
Yeah.
around in the cold. I was like, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
her! It's her!"
Ako
Tapos hindi
din. Like,
pala. And then she
mm,
was flashbacking pala at that time na, oh, I used to be that awkward girl beside
mm,
the girl with the blue hair. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah. Ayun. Pero yeah, I think in general, we all enjoyed the switching POVs, and I think ayun nga one of the things that made it like really work is sobrang iba nung character ni Carly compared kay Scarlett. So they really did feel like two different people sila. Um and ayun. And so let's move on to the next question. So my second question is, how do you feel about Scarlett's actions and form of justice? Do you agree with her means? May mag-volunteer ba? Kasi ako ayoko I'll answer first. Ayoko talaga ng ginagawa niya. Um, unang-una, parang from a practicality standpoint, hindi siya sustainable. Ayun nga, muntik na siyang mahuli. Girl, be careful. And then, ewan ko, parang I feel like an issue like this kasi needs to be tackled systematically, not like yung revenge Batman fantasy na ganon where you hunt men down and teach them a lesson. I don't think she's actually teaching anyone lessons. It feels more like, "Hi, Athena." Ang dami natin ngayon, OMG.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
Okay lang, nasa second question pa lang kami. So, yung actions ni Scarlett, yung form of justice niya, and if you agree with her means. So I personally don't. I think hindi productive yung ginagawa niya, and it feels a lot more selfish, like fino-fulfill na lang niya talaga yung revenge, yung need niya for revenge, and not really, and she's not really coming from a place na I mean she's coming from a place na she wants to change, pero at the same time it's more fueled with her want for blood, and her want for revenge. So I don't agree. I don't agree with her, even though ang badass niya.
Me too. Hindi ako
Same.
agree.
Same. Because, like, to be honest, well, I was reading until the end of it, and I had time uh, to sit with my thoughts. I found myself thinking that how for the lack of better way to say it, and I'm not saying that this is just situational, but uh, death is such an easy way out for those who committed the crime. Like, they inflicted a lifetime of trauma and fear and just all of the negative stuff onto their um, onto their victims, and all they get is just alivened. It's more difficult. It's more difficult to live than to just pass. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, that's if there's something that had to change, it had to be those. There should have been more um, protocols or laws that would have protected the victims, and for the situation never to happen again. Basically, yun. It's my 2 cents.
Siguro akala lang ni Scarlett nagbibigay siya ng justice dun sa way ng, pagpatay niya sa mga predator or sa mga lalaking yun. Pero kung titingnan natin, deeply, hindi, kung ikaw yung victim, tapos nalaman mong namatay lang or nag-suicide lang yung gumawa sa'yo ng masama, still wala ka pa ring mararamdamang justice dun. Kasi parang, it's very shallow. Lalo na't hindi mo alam na parang may naghiganti para sa'yo. Kasi 'di ba lumalabas na suicide yung ibang cases or
Yeah,
accident.
accidents, yeah.
Mm.
So, adding to sa sinabi ni Cha, I think it will be more damaging to the victims, most especially the fact it was ruled out, killings were ruled out as suicide. Because aside from the trauma that they will remember from the things which the predators or the how do you call it, SH, people has done, I think they will blame themselves for the like suicides that have happened. In my personal opinion, especially if the like crime to them has like only like a few weeks apart from the ruled out suicide. So I think personally, what Scarlett in the book is not really that good in like the victim side of things. So personally, I don't agree. And yeah, I also agree with what has said, considering parang medyo delikado talaga ang ginagawa niya. Considering that, personally it all of the things, yung killings na ginawa niya, it's not really that, I mean, it's planned, but there are loopholes to those plans, and it makes me really scared to be caught. So, yeah, yun lang.
Meron pa bang di nag-share aside from me?
Kayo ni Nika. Go lang.
Pero hi everyone. Yeah. Ano ba? Nabigla ko kasi nasa second question na pala. Honestly, I'm a little shy actually to enter the discussion kasi the book didn't had an appeal to me kasi yun nga super frustrated lang ako sa kanya. Super frustrated ako
Valid.
with the character. Even with the plot twist of the book. Yun yung first question, di ba? Parang I don't know, pero I get it how there's a parang there are really people na gusto nila nasa kamay nila yung justice and it would be enough for them na they know on their own, regardless of what anybody else would think. At least alam nila na nakaganti sila on themselves. So I kind of see that, and usually it's very common in thriller books din. Parang maraming ganitong types of characters na want to put justice on their own hands kasi they don't trust the system, mga ganyan. But of course, diba, in reality, if you look at it, it's not the right way when it comes to like justice per se. It's never the right way. And also, ewan ko, parang sa akin talaga it's cheating if a criminal dies instead of like paying for their sins, like in prison or alam mo yung parang in court where parang magkakaharap sila, yung kakausapin niya yung family ng mga taong he in particular kasi puro lalaki yung ano dito na na-harm niya. Yung parang ganun na they will see you struggling behind bars and all that, na nawawala. Tapos parang, ewan ko, ang pangit kasi no suicide kasi parang it also gives that guy na parang nabigyan tuloy siya ng conscience. Kasi usually when they commit suicide, parang na-guilty kasi sila, pinagsisisihan nila yung mga ginawa nila. When in reality, probably they don't. So parang nagmukha pa silang mas okay instead of like the reality. So yun, that's my thoughts about it. Oh, yun nga, parang sabi dito sa chat na maybe, yeah, they deserve to die, but hindi yun, not at that time. They could have paid for their sins first. Parang ganun. In a different way. In the legal human way.
I think for me, parang this is like a classic example of yung you understand but you don't condone it. Alam mo yun? Like, you understand where she's coming from. Talagang maintindihan mo, especially with Carly's story, why she becomes this kind of person. Kasi na-fuel din siya ng, nagsimula sa father niya, di ba? So, when she goes into the campus, parang mas na-trigger itong hidden anger niya. So, you can totally understand where she's coming from and you can kind of understand but also pity her as she becomes worse and worse throughout her life. Kasi nung una siguro anger siya, pero nung huli parang meron na rin siyang thirst for blood din. Parang she just wants to kill for the heck of it and it ends up na nagkataon lang na like her victims will always be men who are abusers or rapists. So I think it's just a really interesting character study then. So hindi siya at first parang like sa shallow level it looks like a very feminist like propaganda feminist story na girl boss, pero kung titignan mo talaga ng maigi, it's more of graphic character study kasi you can just see her becoming worse and worse. And what that because she doesn't get any help with this, tas parang ina-encourage pa siya ng ibang women, 'di ba? Parang it's just very interesting that the story doesn't end na she gets help. So, yeah, I think the means doesn't justify the end. Tama ba? The means does not justify the end. But if you were a woman, some part of you will understand it. And some part of you will be like, you know what, this guy deserves it. But yes, tama yung sinasabi niyo na mali yung pag-frame as a suicide because that gives the abuser some kind of redemption na dapat wala. Yan. I think it has the same yung topic niya has the same heaviness as when you're talking about like the death penalty. It's pretty much the
Mm.
same idea. Like, is it a punishment talaga to kill someone, or do you want them to continue living and just get punished in that way? But then again, kapag yung tao is like really really bad, what if they still don't learn anything even while they're alive? So I think it's just a very debatable topic. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Wow. Ang dami kong insights na nakuha. Because ang ano ko, like, yung, like, from the victim's perspective nga, no, like, I didn't even consider that. Kasi, like, we were in Scarlett's head so much. Tapos parang from her, yung justification niya is that she's protecting women, right? Like, para mabawasan na yung mga harassers and abusers. Pero ayun nga, like, hindi naman guarantee na yung mga people na traumatize is being helped. Like, what is she doing to address them, 'di ba? Yung victims na, like, throughout the book, parang lagi kong sinasabi, get therapy, go get help. Pero I also understand kung bakit she doesn't want to. Kasi yung experience niya, parang walang naniniwala. Parang everyone is sort of shitty to to her and to Allison.
My
So yeah,
problem
does any...
there though, oh sorry. My
That's
problem
okay.
there is that now that she's a teacher, she has the power
Mm.
to
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
to change the campus rape culture. She has the power to like implement these rules stronger and not be the kind of teacher na the previous dean was, 'di ba? So siguro that's one thing that was bugging me the whole time. Na parang ikaw teacher ka na ngayon eh. You have the power to
Mm.
like end this cycle, but you choose like a more violent extreme path. Yeah, I think she has something wrong. Like she needs help talaga.
Yun yung ano, bottom line. Does anyone have anything else to add, or can we go
I
to... Ah,
I really agreed with what Nika said. It's because she is aside from all of the things that she did, outside of that, she's actually a really brilliant person. She's a brilliant woman with a bright mind. And instead, sana nga, I also hope that was like maybe instead of going out there and doing what you do, picking off these creeps one by one, why didn't you enforce the school system to protect the students instead, since now you have the power? But no, it's like she's like waiting for someone to do it for her. I don't know, it's the thing with her friend Dr. Drew, I think. Yeah.
mm,
um, Sana if she worked with him, because that would have been like a really big change, but that did not happen, sadly. She enjoys the kill.
yeah, I think ayun talaga eh. May personal vendetta siya, ano, and it got in the way of, like, bigger and more systemic change. Parang she herself was like, ano, a roadblock to her own cause. Kasi kasi very bloodthirsty siya. Ayun, thank you. Thank you for your answers. The next question is, Scarlett and Carly encounter some very trashy men. As a woman, how do you feel about the way the men were portrayed in this book? Kasi sobrang triggering niya.
go first. Um, Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
personally, I mean, I see like the sentiment that the book is trying to portray when it comes to men. Because let's all agree, although not all men, yung parang sinasabi sa TikTok, we're scared of all men pa rin. Ganon na sentiment. But at the same time, I was a little bit uncomfy as to how men were portrayed in this book. I think they were portrayed mainly as bad people, which is bothering me for some. So, like, I just don't like as to how men were portrayed. I think it's overboard. So, yun lang. Yung parang walang disente. And it's making my heart break.
Meron bang kahit isang character, I think walang male character
Wala.
na wala,
Wala.
di ba? Wala.
Si
So,
Drew
Si
parang,
lang.
Drew. Si Drew.
di ba,
Which is like
True.
problematic din. Kasi, of
it
course,
was
the
extremely
only
biased.
decent, yeah, oo, like, yung, the only decent man is also happens to be gay. Parang, sige, let's perpetuate that stereotype.
Parang wala siyang alay sa ano, sa men.
Yeah, yeah,
Oo.
at all, no, wala. Ako din na-bother dun sa, ano, although, ano, I guess to provide like a counterpoint, ano, parang pinoportray niya is, sometimes kahit na trust mo sila, yun talaga yung ginagawa nila. They try to get your trust, and then kapag nakuha na nila, dun na nila pinipilit, dun na nila pinupush yung whatever they want from you, be it, a relationship, or yung parang nice guy nga ni I think it was Wes, right?
Yes, it was.
He was very nice guy. And then, ganun din yung sa professors. Like, oh my gosh, sobrang nati-trigger ako. Like, yung mga professors na ginagamit yung power nila to, to take advantage of the female students. Kasi ang dami kong prof na, and also an English literature student. Ang dami kong prof na lalaki. And I trust them so much kasi sobrang bait nila. So, tapos ganun yung portrayal dito. Like, sobrang bait, sobrang caring, sobrang considerate. Tapos biglang nagte-take advantage, and I'm like, no, no, hindi yan accurate, even though medyo ay basta ayun, parang sobrang I get ko kung bakit ganun yung ginawa niya, kasi parang manipulation tactic nga talaga siya, and it happens in the real world. Pero walang nuance. Ayun, yung ginawa, as in, all men are bad. Yun yung bottom line niya.
Sana kahit meron man lamang isa, 'di ba? Aside from Drew, na alam mo 'yon, aware na sa ganun, may ganun nangyayari and against sa nangyayari.
Yeah, kasi I'm sure in the real world meron. Parang ganun eh. It would have made the book more balanced in a way. Kasi yun, then while I was reading, I'm sure kasi parang okay naman yung parang plot twist nga na there's this guy you trusted but turned out not okay. Pero sobra rin kasing daming mentioned guys or men in the book. But ewan ko, it's super weird. Like kahit ikaw sa sarili mo, you can pinpoint bad men in your life, pero you can also pinpoint good ones, I guess. Or slightly bad, like tolerable bad ones. Like bad in a different way ones. Diba may gano'n naman like, para sobra, yun nga, pare-pareho masyado. I don't know. I guess kasi all men have the power, the capacity to do those bad things, and we all know that. Pero I think some of them have the control. Like, hindi ko naman sa pinagtatanggol ko sila or something. Pero like in a realistic setting. Yeah, sobrang weird talaga. Sobrang weird ng book in that way. Isa yun sa mga reason kaya na-off ako sa kanya. And I was listening to it on audio. So, I was trying to take down notes ng mga names para maano ko talaga na, yung mga male characters sa book. So, mas halata tuloy na parang iniaan ko yung, wala talaga. Kaya yun yung isang question mark ko dun. Wala talaga.
Parang lahat trash.
True. Oh my god. Yeah, I was earlier. I kind of said right, like every time there's a male character, I was just immediately conditioned to think something bad's gonna happen, and we better just run away. Yeah, actually, my impression of this was as a person reading the book, it was more like the author took every single worst case scenario, all the most scariest, most frustrating, most anxiety giving situations, and crammed them all into one cesspool of a school, basically. And I really did also find myself wishing that there was at least one other male character who saw the struggle and was an ally. But until the very end, I was also disappointed. I was let down na tumagos na ako sa earth. Ganun yung feeling.
It's a wonder why the shut down yet.
Yeah, true, no?
I agree with you all, but also like a part of me is also like it's interesting because she showed almost all possible scenarios of how men can be scary, of like every possible scenarios that can be considered as abusive or abusive, manipulative, and you know can be considered as sexual harassment. And I think that was a really interesting way to show her victims. But also, yes, tama naman kayo lahat na parang I wish there was at least one na ano. My biggest qualms is yung anong name nung parang guy best friend? Si Wes ba yun?
Si West,
I feel
Yeah.
yeah.
like, yeah, I feel like he parang his story arc was not exactly that convincing. Like I know totoo na meron like in real life yung mga pretend nice guys, yung mga sinasadyang maging nice guys. But then again, I felt like Wes's story was just unnecessary, I think, yung sa kanya. Parang I felt medyo over the top siya na parang okay, it came out of nowhere. And even though it's true in real life na sometimes like men like these they'll like switch out of nowhere, but there would be clues dapat. Like when you look back, there should be clues, but like there weren't any with
Wala eh. Sobrang wholesome niya.
yeah, tapos biglang ganon. Tapos parang yun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disturbing then na for a story about women being victims, that there are more male characters in the book than there are female characters. Like the
Yeah.
ratio is just
Hmm.
the ratio is just not proportionate at all.
Wait.
Kahit na you're hearing Carly and Scarlett's point of view, parang bakit mas kilala mo pa yung mga male characters kasi yung female characters sa story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
OMG, I didn't even notice that, no? Oo nga. Parang yung other notable female character is yung Dr. Mina. And then
Yes.
yung friend niya si Allison. Oh my God, oo nga.
Pero yung mga naging
There's not much
victim,
other women. Yeah.
yung mga naging victims, wala sila exposure.
Yeah, usually hindi nga sila named eh.
Heck, we
Oo.
don't even know much about Michaela, right? And she was like
Yung student, yeah.
yeah, the students in the bandang sa huli na that was she fell victim to Jasper and the other professor. I actually don't know much about her except for the fact that she's a very argumentative person with strong opinions who apparently had been hiding that she was being chased down by Jasper, which is, on that note, he was really scary.
Yeah, but you like she focused more on the abusers than the victims, which should not be. Kasi ganun na rin in real life eh. That's like a real problem that's happening in real life as well. That we end up, giving name to the abuser and like talking about the abuser's past, but we don't talk about what happened to the victim. We don't know much about the victim. That's just what we know them as, the victim. Ganun.
Mm.
So, I think that was very much reflected in the book. And I don't know if it was kung sinadya siya or or that was just a mistake by the author.
Yeah, OMG, oo nga. Nagre-reel yung mind ko when you brought it up. Another issue I had with like this particular point, kasi ang problem isn't just na may rapists, and it's also the culture surrounding it, kasi like wala ngang naniwala. So and that issue is like super complex and complicated, and ayun nga, it takes so much more than killing abusers to fix it. Pero parang ang naging face ng issue na to is the men. Alam niyo yun? Pero in reality, pinakita din dun sa book eh. Women can also perpetuate this cycle. Women can also participate in misogyny, in rape culture. So like pwede rin silang maging villains, pero wala, parang lahat ng women dito are like, OMG, girl power, girl boss, gano'n. Tapos lahat ng men are like, they're trash, and we have to overthrow them, we have to kill them, wala silang kwentang tao. Ganun yung vibe. So parang, it's a very like black and white take on such a deeply societal and systematic issue. Kaya ayun, hindi ko rin icky din yung feeling ko with like the portrayal of men and on this book. Does anyone else have anything to add? Ang dami ko talaga na pulot na insights. Kahit na we didn't really like super enjoy the book. Or okay. So this is the fourth question. Although I think we've touched on it while we were answering the previous questions. What can you say about how the book handled its themes of feminism, harassment, and revenge? Like, if may specific thoughts kayo on that part.
I think it would be very easy for someone to read this and think that it's just another feminist propaganda, just another girl boss story. But yeah, it's just basically. But also, I think it did a great job of touching on revenge though. Like on that part, pagdating kay Scarlett, she was a very vengeful person, and she like the writing style executed that really well. Kasi like she's never been caught. There were not a lot of close calls before, but the moment that she kills someone that she really, really wants revenge on. Because for the others, it's just revenge for others, right? She's avenging other people. But for this is for herself. Talagang, this is the one where she's like very passionate that she really wants to avenge herself, diba? So, and this is the one time that she trips up, na shaken up siya, ganon. And I think that was a really, really good portrayal of revenge and how being vengeful and not having like that vengeful, yung sama ng loob sorted out, um, could lead you down like a horrible path. So yes, that was, I think that was portrayed very well. But when it comes to feminism, like I guess for me, I personally still read and really enjoyed reading it, even though even after all of these like problems. Um, but for I can see how men or how men would see this as oh, that's just another that's just they're just gonna
Mag-
repeat the parang oh, not all men
Not
ganon.
all men, yeah.
I can totally see it happening. Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes to some part of the book, I have some thoughts. Actually, you can think about like the feminist is as to how Korean men see feminism. I don't know if you have watched like videos regarding as to how Korean men see feminism, but actually Korean men see feminism as women men or like seeing men without any proper justification. That's why in Korea they look down much on feminism because they have that way of thinking. So when I read like that thought like went to my head and I was like, oh, it's quite a lot. Like it's like I'm seeing um the feminism part in Korea, like what they think what feminism is about. I mean, it's a bit extreme. That's what I thought regarding the feminism inside this book. What I agree with Nika with regards to the revenge part, I think it's was portrayed like in an amazing manner. But feminism, that's all.
Okay, that's IN. Go, Ate Ina.
Ayun. Same din with me. I think there was an attempt. Yun. There was an attempt and or parang ano siya, very reminiscent siya nung mga earlier ways to shout about feminism. Parang ganun. Yun talaga, there was an attempt and parang I don't know about the author kung anong naisip niya or yung dating for her to deliver that. Kasi honestly, I enjoyed starting the book. Yung premise niya and um, yung concept niya is actually quite intriguing. Pero when in terms of the execution and being in the mind of the main character, medyo doon kasi siya lumiliko, especially if um, you would like label it as feminism. Kasi parang it's more of this certain character doing these certain things, but not necessarily to wave the flag of feminism, I guess. Yun talaga. Yun nga, okay siya like with how a person handles something bad that happened to them and like taking justice for themselves. And yun nga, I haven't had much experience with revenge plots. Pero dito, the scene that Nika highlighted earlier nga, yung when it came to her personal revenge and what happened that moment na lumabas yung victim in her despite um, the strength, di ba? Or parang the cold exterior na-establish niya na yun, parang bumabalik pa rin. Super frustration mo, nagiging ng super emotional and not rational na sa actions, which, can ruin a lot of things for you. And, yeah. I guess with that part, half tuloy yung ano ko. But, yeah, I don't think this book portrays feminism in a good light. Yun. Kasi ba super hard super hard. Yan yung parang women have to go above, parang gano'n. Ewan ko, but feminism is a very, very shaky thing. Pag i-open mo siya with like balance between men and women. So, yeah, yun lang yung thoughts ko doon.
Okay, thank you,
Sa'kin
Ate
naman
Ina. Yeah.
Sa'kin naman siguro kung siguro nagkaroon siya ng concrete plans, aside from siguro sa revenge, sige sabihin na natin gusto niya maghigante. Pero kung yun nga, meron na kasi siyang power teacher na kasi siya. So, part na siya nung system or nung faculty. Kung sana nagkaroon siya ng mas magandang plano for the better system, baka alam mo yun, masabi ko na umabot siya dun sa feminism na gusto niyang or baka mas nagkaroon pa ng justice din yung mga victim kasi naranasan na nga niya na hindi naniwala yung dean sa kanila nung teenager siya. So parang ang sa akin, hahayaan mo ba na magpatuloy na walang maniwala?
How about you, Q?
I actually share the same sentiment with what everyone said. I guess just to highlight that one scene, the one with the dean, it really that was a part of the book where I felt like I saw all the characters in vivid color because it I think we've all tried or we've all like naranasan na natin a situation where nobody where what we're saying is really urgent but it goes over the head of the person and it was dismissed or invalidated and it just the frustration in that scene was so real but I was hoping there was going to be also a closure to that in the ending of the book but we didn't get that so I was left um pretty frustrated in the end. Uh, yeah, I also agree with the sentiment that this book does not view feminism in a good light at all. It is more of it's more of a reflection of what we used to see before pretty early on. But this is not it.
Mm.
This is not the justice a lot of what this is not the justice that we are seeking in modern times. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Ano, I guess my only contribution. Um, I liked that accurate yung pag-portray niya of like women in the workplace. Like that struggle between men and women kasi it happens and I think ano yung binasa na with Ate Ina with ano where dreams descend, di ba? Si Kalia like
Yeah.
she's a magician tapos ano tapos ayun she's the only woman tapos she's constantly belittled by like the men in power in the workplace tapos parang she has to work twice as hard while the men kahit na medyo mediocre naman sila they exceed kasi mas madami silang connections mas I don't know mas uh professional sila, I guess may bias against like pinakita yung bias against women and like I think that was one of the things na I really liked about this book. Very accurate yung ano na yung portrayal na yon. But otherwise I agree it's very girl bossy. um I think if babasahin siya dapat meron nga like ano na may I guess alam mo na dapat you're heading into this as it's a revenge story, it's a revenge fantasy and not a book talking about issues like or not a book like tackling feminism in a kind of I don't want to say deep way pero alam mo yun very very simple kasi yung take talaga eh naman naman may Taylor Swift. Yeah,
Yes.
medyo ganun siya. But yeah, ayun, ano, parang mas maganda i-approach yung book as, knowing na it's about revenge. And parang mas enjoyable siya to look at, like what Nika said, to look at Scarlett as a character study of what revenge can do to you and what so much trauma and not getting help kasi yun talaga they need therapy. uh, ayun lang naman. I think we can move on to the fifth question. The fifth question is, what did you think about the relationship between Carly and Allison as well as Carly and Wes? Kailangan ito ng shoutout kasi sobrang formative nito for Scarlett later on. So, what did you guys think?
um I very much related to Carly as a queer girl, as a bisexual person. That's the same confusion that any bisexual girl will feel. Alam mo yun? Yung parang hindi siya makadecide who's hotter. Or hindi siya makadecide kung sino yung mas gusto niya. Yeah, it's very relatable in that sense. And I think it was written very well. Thus, to add to that, she was also a very anxious person. So, part of me, I really related with Carly, even though I had a hard time getting into her story. But that's only because I couldn't find the significance of her story to Scarlett's story at first. But yeah, I think it was a really good portrayal of um, attraction, like yung difference of attraction niya for Wes and yung attraction niya for for Allison because I don't know if like any of you have the same experience as me, but as a bisexual girl, it's harder to like a girl because mas intimidating siya to like a girl, especially if you feel like the girl is like doing a better job at being a girl than you. Alam mo yun? And then yeah, it's like it's just an easier thing to like when you like a guy ganon. But yeah, that was a very accurate portrayal of what it means to be. I don't know what she is. If she's bisexual or pansexual, I don't know. But yeah, when it comes to like attraction and yung closeness niya with the two and like the tension between the all the three of them was very entertaining actually to read about. I wish we had more of that before they made like she made Wes into the nice guy trope na nice guy turned evil trope. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Nika. Wait, since naka unmute ka na, Q, go.
Oh, um, okay, how do I say this? I'm a little bit on the opposite end of the spectrum from Nick. I'm actually, uh, just to put it out there, I'm actually ace, so I don't really understand what was going on with the. I didn't really understand what was going on with the three of them. Like I understand that that see Carly liked both, and pero na ano ako, so I got so caught up in her head that pati ako nagulahan din ako. I'm just like, I'm confused. Where do I look? I wished I really did admire at the very beginning at least that how Allison, although she's very like she's like a firecracker, she was able to bring out a little bit of confidence from Carly because we all need that one friend. If you're really shy or you're hesitant, you'll need someone to be brave for you first before ma-encourage ka to do the same thing. Um, yeah, it's really sad how it all ended for me, especially with Allison. Not much with Wes because he took the back seat, I guess, in this in the beginning of the story for me. But yeah, I was actually I would say it again. I was really sad with how also Wes turned into a nice guy trope. Yeah.
Oh, ako personally, I was surprised na merong slightly sapphic route at first with Allison. Hindi ko, kasi I was listening lang so parang no way to peek through what would happen next, gano'n. So, tapos parang tinatranslate ko pa yung nangyayari. Kasi I was listening while I was working, so nag-type-type lang ako ganyan. So, I'm sure I blacked out on some scenes, pero parang papaganon ako bigla, okay, wait, she likes her? Parang napapaganon ako. Parang si Q ako, I was confused na nangyayari. And also, ang hirap pala pag audio na nagsiswitching timelines. Na ano ako. So, yeah. Actually, I was super surprised lang. And confused. Like, all caps confused. Pero yeah, I think, okay yung Carly part for me. Like, yung timeline niya. With those particular relationships, like relatable siya. It wasn't. I could have had more, of course, na to understand the characters more, but yung progression sa kanya was, and the confusion na feel niya rin as a character, I think is super realistic naman. And yeah, wala na nga lang akong super with Wes. I don't know. Hindi nga siya super kasi nung he was nice. I wasn't parang hindi ko siya pinansin actually. Kala ko kasi wala lang, like dadaan lang yung character niya. Parang ganun kasi akala ko it would basta ewan ko, wala siyang naging impact sa akin kasi. So parang, nung sinabi mo nga yung question, sabi ko, sino ba tong West? Tapos iniisip ko, friends. Naalala ko na, nung nasa jeep ako kasi binabasa ko yung question, sabi ko, okay, I remember now. And ito yung character na hindi ko masyadong nasubaybayan. Ewan ko kung dahil sa work or what, pero, but it's, with Carly specifically, and the way, in her mind, no, parang siya, on how, her feelings for both people. Yun. I think it was okay naman for me. Yun. Also confused, but yung sa paggawa ng book, I think, in the story, was okay.
So I'm quite similar to Q and Atiina. I'm more on the confused side of things, but personally, I appreciate actually that there is this relationship portrayed inside the book. But oh wait, I'm not surprised, but more like confused because there is a trend with dark academia. Because most dark academia books they usually like cover relationships in the LGBTQ plus community. So I am not at all surprised as to the relationship exists in this book because it is very popular in dark academia books. I am more on confused feelings because I'm straight, so I don't know how that feels. But at the same time, I appreciate the feelings that was portrayed in the book, but not at all surprised. So basically, that's it.
Ako naman nanghihinayang ako. Nanghihinayang ako sa sa friendship nilang tatlo. Tapos, siguro sa relationship ni Wes tsaka ni Carly, mas siniship ko kasi si Allison, tsaka si Carly kaysa kay Wes, si Carly. So, parang ano nga, parang si na rin ako sino ba 'to?
Biased ako eh. Biased ako kay Allison kay Carly.
True, true. Yeah, same.
Parang 'pag may mga scene kasi do'n si Wes, sabi ko parang nasa isip ko, "Wag ka nga magulo, wait lang."
Ako ba't ka nandito? Ba't ka pumunta? Nakagulo ka ba?
Say what you hear.
Pero mas nandun ako sa nanghihinayang ako sa, friendship nilang tatlo tapos nakaka-frustrate nung parang nasira yung samahan ni Allison tsaka ni Carly.
Yeah, same. I don't think nasad ako kasi ito yung ang akin also hi Nika same. Lalandiin na kita. Joke. Nagkalat.
On live, on live.
On brand talaga ni Erica yan.
Huwag ganon.
Nagkalat on live. Sorry. Sorry, Moon. But yeah, so yung confusion ni yung confusion ni Carly, sobrang I get. Tapos yung presentation kasi ni Allison is like medyo manic pixie dream girl. Like she was wearing vintage clothes, tapos she's very bubbly, she's very pretty, ganon. Tapos, 'di ba, super anxious and shy ni Carly. So, and my friend ako na ganon, like, very Allison siya, tapos medyo bitch din siya, kaya, like, sige, I will worship the ground you walk on. Ganun yung vibe. And kaya sobrang accurate nung ni Carly, yung attraction niya for Allison. Like, girl, I get it. I understand. Um, Pero nung habang tumatagal kasi Allison is such a bad friend. Like, she would blow them off, gano'n, for the guy. Tapos kaya parang sabi ko, ay kung ako yun, hindi naman ako gano'n hindi naman ako gano'n karupok. Like, kaya mas team West ako. Also because nagro-root talaga ako. Gusto ko ng guy na tutulong talaga. I don't know, naghahanap ako ng ally doon sa book. So, I think nag-latch on talaga ako kay Wes. And then, he proved time and time again na he was actually nice. Like, yung natulog sila in his bed together. Tapos walang nangyari, walang anything. Tapos he just drove her home. Ayun, ganon. Tapos kaya nung ending na nice guy pala siya, sobrang na-hurt ako kasi emotionally invested ako sa kanya. 'Cause like I felt like ano, Allison medyo I was over Allison kasi ang nagiging bitch na nga siya, and even before yung ano, yung trauma niya and her assault, like she was actually like a super flaky friend. Kaya ano, but Wes was always kind of there for her, ano, for Carly. Kaya nung when he betrayed her, I was like, no. Um, but ayun, it was sad and parang ano na nasa ano nang hinayang ko kay Wes kasi parang ginawa lang siya siyang plot twist. Nung author
Yeah, yun yung
ginamit.
na-feel ko.
Mm. Talagang hindi well put yung character niya. Like Mika said kanina, dapat may red flags like from the beginning. But no, he was green flags all the way. Kaya ano na-betray ako nun sa dulo. I didn't add it pero I'm curious like what do you think about si Scarlett and yung professor, si Mina, yung present na relationship? Kasi feeling ko ang enabler ni Mina eh, nakakainis.
When it came to yung relationship aspect lang, like the tension between them, I loved it. I loved yung sapphic tension niya. I loved yung progression ng sexual and romantic tension nila with each other. But yeah, tama yun. Parang naging enabler siya. And I don't know, it's like I don't know how relatable it is or how valid it is na you were once married to this guy and then now parang you're fine about like this woman that you're in love with killing him. Alam mo yun? Like I understand that, the guy was a jerk, and maybe he has hurt a lot of women, and but like there should be some part of you that also still feels na he shouldn't have died, or some part of you should still be mourning. Pero ayun, it's just really weird to me na she went from being so passionate about searching for the killer of all of these murders on campus or near the campus to suddenly being like, oh, the killer makes sense. I'll just side with her and enable her, ganon. Tapos parang, it didn't really make sense. But when it comes to their relationship and the romance between the two, I really liked it.
I didn't like it. So, yun na lang. Kasi nga yun, parang feeling ko,
Same.
another character na naman na gagawin niya lang plot twist. Kasi I was like super scared of this character. Kasi nga, parang makukutuban siya. Yun yung feels ko na parang this character can be the reason para ma ma ma-put siya sa spotlight na siya yung killer kasi parang she's smart enough to see clues, parang ganon. Tapos,
Mhm.
yun nga, parang na-shock ako na sa, ang bilis, for me, ang bilis na she would switch, na ganon. Like, even if your husband is a jerk, ewan ko, na-off ako doon. Ang daming part nga na parang na ko, huh? Okay. Parang, I felt like, honestly, as someone who really loves reading thrillers, parang ito yung mga times na parang extra shock factor or parang patapos na kasi yung book, I don't know, parang para may ma-resolve part na lang. And I get kasi gusto ko rin sana like for of course for Scarlett to find someone and like okay naman eh if it would be her. Pero yan nga parang na-shock lang ako on how fast things went and ewan ko, there's a part of me nga that was hoping na na iba yung way that the story ended. So including that part, parang ganun. So it's one of those things na I wish was different. Of course, I'm in a way parang gusto mo rin naman for the character to find love, pero not with this character, I guess. I don't know. Hindi ko but it's just me. Yun.
For me kasi parang walang slow burn dun sa relationship. Ano 'no, ni Mina tsaka ni Scarlett. Parang ayun nga, si kahit yung yung parang nalaman na niya na hindi pala suicide yung kinamatay nung mga lalaki, parang, ah, hindi man lang napakita yung process kung paano niya nalaman or magkaroon man lang ng hint na alam na malapit na niya malaman, may signs na.
For
Yeah.
me, I felt like that Professor Mina's character. Although I find the couple really cute, I really do. It was very cute and also at the same time eerie to see them in London doing their thing. But I felt like the introduction for her character was mighty convenient. Like she had so much potential to be a very interesting obstacle in Scarlett's story. And I remember the part when nakalaman na ng feelings tapos sabi niya, what took you so long? I was just like, wait, what? Wait. It's like, when did this happen? I thought y'all were just good friends. Oops. I mean, I also part of me. I'm so sorry if I missed the cues because it probably just went over my head. Yeah, that's that's yun lang.
So yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Professor Mina would have been like an interesting character if the author has put more thought on her character. Because if I were in her position, like yung tipong I would be really confused as to what is inside, like what am I feeling? Like, it's like missed opportunity per se. And although like the romance is fine, I think it's a bit like fast in my personal opinion, considering that there is really not that much of a show as to how Professor Mina like feels. Like I don't know, it's a little bit like fast in my opinion. So yun lang.
Okay, I think factor kaya na na ano din kasi I like yung romance nila. Kasi there was like may pining and then there was so much tension and I was like,
Factor nga
kaya lang.
yata eh.
Yeah.
Siguro dalawa lang out of us 6.
Because I liked it. But like, feeling ko like mas sexy kung enemies talaga sila until the end. I don't know. Like, ayoko that they got together. Tapos, ayun nga, like,
Gusto mo tension
for
lang,
Now
very,
like,
that is
yeah,
very
gusto ko lang talaga
interesting. Oh my
ang ganda
god,
ng
yeah,
tension
maganda
yes.
nila.
pa
And like,
yun.
di ba, parang, tapos dun sa end, like, Mina actually has to, but I guess, it won't work kasi, ayun, parang side character si Mina. So, we can't really put too much focus on her. Pero, ayun nga, like, kung rivals lang talaga sila, tapos, yung, if the ending did end differently, siguro mas ma-enjoy ko siya. Like, if may I don't know, hindi ko talaga nagustuhan na they're just in London eh. Tapos, parang Batman and Robin sila together there. Pero I enjoyed their romance. I think siya like subtle siya tapos ano it didn't it didn't need to be slow. And I don't know if that makes sense. Parang alam mo yung minsan
So
sometimes may nakita ka lang talaga and you're like, okay, I want to be with them. I think ganun yung naramdaman ni Scarlett with Mina kasi like this is another woman who's on her level and parang sees her as an equal ganun, which is kind of something na parang hindi niya masyado na experience kaya siguro na nag um, I forgot the word, parang ayun na-attract siya ng super kay Dr. Mina, but ayun.
man,
I
now
it
I would
just
like to see a separate book with just about them. That would be so cool. That would be so cute.
So like I would find the relationship cute if the genre is romance or
without the murders.
Without the murders.
Just academic rivals.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my god, that is actually
Oh
like
my god, yes.
lovers, but
Mm.
it's like enemies to lovers, but in academics, like I would eat that shit up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would be on the floor. Oh yes.
um. So, last question na tayo. What are your overall thoughts and opinions? Would you recommend this book, and how did you rate it?
So yeah. Personally, despite the fact that I have like misgivings about the book, I really, really enjoyed it. Like I'm such a hope for any dark academia book, so it's quite expected that I enjoyed reading this book. However, when it comes to recommending it, I think there is a certain group of people that would enjoy this book. I don't think this book is for everyone because there are some themes that needs to be like tackled properly or else it will be like misunderstood in my opinion. So overall, I rate the book 3.5 stars, which is not a bad rating, but also not that very good. Because yeah, although I enjoyed it, I have misgivings. So yeah, that's it.
Hello. Hi, my dog
Dog.
here.
Hi.
Nagmamata ko siya, so I have to attend to
Ay, cute.
Cutie.
her. Anyway, 2022, pansin ko, I keep rating books three stars. Hindi ko alam kung maarte na ako or what, but I rated this book 3 stars kasi actually, I really enjoyed listening to it. Nung magsalita siya. Um, I think na it was, yung pacing niya was okay, especially for an audiobook. Ang bilis nga lang rin, ko rin siya pinakinggan. But, yun nga, I had yung mga scenes na na-off ako, like, especially like, yung dun sa lack of nice men in the characters. Tapos, at first nga, I was super interested in listening. Tapos, and then, some parts felt like repetitive to me. May mga ganun akong feels na parang paulit-ulit. And then, meron times talaga na I had to um, go back to listen to it again. Kasi parang, ano nga yung nangyari? Parang, nagbo-blur na sa mind ko yung um, Carly and Scarlett settings. So, yun. It's not like the feeling na sometimes I feel with Dark Academia na ayoko na nga pakinggan ng audio because I want to like fully immerse myself na may hawak rin akong book. Yun. Hindi ko alam if it's because I've been reading fully romance lang all throughout February and I was looking for ano um fully romance feels. Ewan ko, parang naka-wire yung mind ko ngayong February for that. Pero ewan ko, yun nga parang um there's something about the character na hindi kami match siguro. So it was hard for me to root for her. And ako kasi alam niyo muna, I'm super, super emotional when it comes to reading. Parang, pag wala kaming connection, it's really hard for me to push through. And if it weren't for listening to it via audio, I'm not sure kung matatapos ko siya. So, yun. Kasi baka babagal ako magbasa kasi nga, hindi kami friend ni, ni nung character. So, yun, unfortunately. But, 3 is good pa rin naman. There are parts that I really liked. But especially towards the end, yun, hindi talaga ako siya nagustuhan yung way it ended. So, that's why 3 for me. Maybe yung recommendation would be for people who are looking for more dark academia. Kasi it's not like there's so many eh. So, parang ang sarap din i-consume iba-ibang styles ng mga author to deliver like dark stories in this type of setting. Tsaka, yun din parang marami rin namang tao are enjoying mga female vigilantes, female serial killers, yung mga ganong dark things. So, doon ko siya i-recommend, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Ate Ina. Anyone want to go next?
Okay. I rated siguro yung book na 'to ni-rate ko siya sa Goodreads ng 4. I enjoy it kasi, pero, wala akong character na niro-root for or wala akong favorite character. They are relatable at some point pero, yun nga, yung mismo kasing, protagonist, si Scarlett, questionable kasi yung actions niya. So, parang, hindi ko siya favorite. But, kung ire-recommend ko siya sa I think ire-recommend ko siya sa someone na who will love dark academia, crime fiction, thriller. But I love, uh, reading the same kind of book. But this one kasi is parang fall short lang at some parts of, moral issues, values, ayan lang.
My real rating for this book is 3.75, but on Goodreads, you'll see it as 4. Because I think my rating for this is based solely on how entertained I was while reading it. Parang subjectively speaking, it's just a very entertaining book. And actually, I think I mentioned it last time, pero I'm notorious for like rating a book immediately after reading it something very high and then changing it like 2 weeks 3 weeks later. So
Yun
immediately
ako.
after immediately after reading the book, it was actually a 5 stars for me. And then like the more I thought about it, that was like, yeah, yung discussion pa natin ngayon. And yeah, it slowly went down and it became a 4/3.75 stars. um Kasi I did really enjoy it despite all of the problems nga. I think I just sort of read it as like a girl boss story. And like part of me knows how toxic girl boss stories are, but I also just really find them entertaining and I really like them. Um,
Your
I would
cat.
recommend, yeah, my cat.
Hi,
Oh, ayaw niya.
cat! Hi!
Yeah.
So
I would,
sweet.
next time pakita ko. But I wouldn't recommend this for just anyone. I think if someone was specifically looking for a serial killer or like a
Mm.
murderous woman story, I would recommend it. But if someone's just looking for like a character na female lead or like a story in a female lead or a academia book, I would not recommend this because one, I won't be sure if kaya nilang ma-differentiate yung reality and yung book and like the reality of like sexual assault. And
Mm-hmm.
two, it's a very triggering book. I just
Yeah.
I don't get triggered by sexual assault kasi, but so I was able to enjoy it. But if I showed this to anyone else and they had triggers for it, it wouldn't be great. Yeah, that's mine.
Wait, may I?
Yeah, go
um,
Q. Sorry.
okay, so I actually rated this book 3.5 because I was also very entertained and I love that the book had short chapters. I think that was a favorite part of the book. It had short chapters. It was easy to read. It was fast paced, and it caught my attention long enough for me to finish cover to cover. But in terms of recommendation, I think I would only. It is truly not for everyone, especially with all the triggers uh, and the things that are discussed in the book. I think I would only recommend this to a select group of people who are probably open to discussion about gray morality. I don't know anything about that, but open to discussion of gray morality and what else? And basically the existence of girl boss stories, because this is one of them. And it's entertaining, but it's not reality. Yeah, yun lang.
Yeah, I'm actually reading yung famous ngayon na serial killer din. And the romantic lead is the FBI agent investigating the case. Pero it's super spicy. So I think yun yung difference kasi nandun ako sa spicy world tapos ito. So it's weird. Pero yun, para silang serial killers. So, ayun, medyo weird tuloy sa akin. Sabay ko silang binabasa. Naalala ko tuloy siya biglang i-mention. So, it's
Anong book
weird.
yun? Or book ba siya?
Series siya eh. Ang
Oh.
first book niya yung The Risk. I think kasi the author passed away. Tapos, nagka-hype tuloy yung books niya. So, yun. S.T. Abby yung pen name niya for that spicy,
Ate Ina, is it like currently hype on TikTok?
Yeah, it's super hyped on TikTok, kaya ko siya binasa. And nirecommend siya ni Bea. Yun. It's super weird kasi the FBI agent is parang ganon siya. So, it's a different, it's not dark academia at all. Pero naalala ko siya kasi when you were talking about women serial killers. Tapos yun. She also went,
That
huh?
because I think I have like seen videos stalking.
Yeah, sobrang daming parang, the TikTokers who do the role play thing. Di parang hindi kasi ako marunong umarte ng mga ganun. Pero yeah, they love it. Hindi ako mag-edit. So, yun. Super hype siya doon. So, I tried reading it kasi mga maiksi lang, like 100 pages per book. Ganun siya. And 5 books. So, super iksi niya lang. And if you're up for spice, of course, not anyone is up for smut. So, yun. Yeah, I remembered lang kasi, so like, super dark din yun, super gory actually. And the character also, very similar sila ni Scarlett. She went through abuse and then nag-change din siya ng name. As in, very sila. Pero actually siya super torture related, super dark nun. Ang daming graphic descriptions of violence doon. Tapos, graphic descriptions din of spies. So, it's super so, it's not for everyone too. So, I think yung ito talagang ganitong type of reads, not for everyone. But, yeah, I just remembered. So, sinabi ko na before Erica shares her thoughts. So,
Okay lang. So ayun, nakaano din siya sa Goodreads ko as 4. Yung mind ko, sinasabi niya dapat 3 lang. Kasi ang dami ko talagang issues with it. Like, and then right after I read it, people were comparing it to Promising Young Woman. So I watched that movie. It's a movie. So I watched it. Tapos mas nagustuhan ko kasi yung Promising Young Woman, and it was yung lahat ng hinahanap ko from this book nandoon, like it's more nuanced. Hindi
where can
lang
I watch it?
parang ang hanap niya ang hanap niya is accountability and not like petty revenge. Ganun yung approach niya. So nung pinanood ko yun, tapos kino-compare ko siya dito, and I was like, this book is so bad compared to the movie. Pero I finished the book kasi in one day. Like, ganun siya ka-entertaining for me. Talagang hindi ko siya mapigilan. Kaya, ayun, very emotional din ako kapag nagre-rate. And dahil sobrang na-enjoy ko talaga siya, I can't bring myself to put it down to 3 stars. Kaya, ayun, doon lang muna siya sa 4. But like everyone else, hindi ko rin siya i-recommend basta-basta. I think may specific genre of like movies na ang tawag is good for her. Like good for her cinematic universe. Tapos it's like ayun, mga ganun. It's about women who parang rise up to alam mo yung mga yung Gone Girl vibes, ganun. So I think sa mga people na naghahanap ng ganong style ng story, ganong type ng story, doon ko lang siya i-recommend. But not for men. I feeling ko hindi ko i-recommend to for men at all.
Kakabahan
And
sila.
They will hate it. 1 star.
I think ang mangyayari,
Saka
ang
they will ask you, Erica, bakit mo to nire-recommend sa akin?
Getting
Warning
some
kasi, warning.
tips.
Warning sa kanila.
beware. Um,
Beware.
They will be like Eric
ayun.
thing.
So, ayun, like dun, kapag kung if specifically naghahanap sila ng good for her type of story, ayun siya. It's perfect for those readers. And yeah, ayun lang, yun na yung yun na yung last question. Thank you guys so much for joining. Ang dami natin ngayon. Uh, Almost 1.5 hours tayo nagdadaldalan.
But such an interesting discussion, which is really, really good. So, yeah. So, yun lang yun, no, Erica?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we can end. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, so who is the host for the next live show for March? Nakalimutan ko kasi. Who is the host? Is it Ate Ina?
No,
April
nakalimutan ko
pa
rin
ako.
eh.
Wait, I'm trying to scroll. Makahabol ba natin? Or ay, wait. Oh, no, it's just the book. I think it's, Marty ba?
No, wait, I forgot. Oh my gosh, ako yung
Wait,
nagsusulat.
ito kasi yung book eh, The Lake of Dead Languages. Sino sa inyo yung nag-recommend?
Si
Ikaw.
Eva.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
the
so
I'll
yeah,
book,
inform
that's
her
what
na.
we'll be reading.
okay, so the book for March will be The Lake of Dead Languages, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before.
Well, I've heard about it, and it's a dark academia book as well, and it's kind of mixed reviews. So I'm interested in reading the book. So yun. So yeah, I think that concludes our live show for tonight. So I guess thank you Erica for hosting this month's live show. This has been an interesting discussion and I'm so happy na marami tayo today. Also thank you to to the people who have watched Sha, which is Q's friend. Um John Manuel D or Dai Cha, boyfriend mo to, no?
Yes.
And of course, Arn reads, Gerald from Gerald Booker Firm, and Emman. Anyway,
There's
so,
also May pala. Ito sa taas mo, May. Mayonnaise? The mayonnaise.
Oh,
oh,
From
yeah,
Good
yeah,
Neighbors Club yan.
yeah. I've seen her comments in like the previous discussion of reminders of him. So, yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. Goodbye everyone. Thank you so much for tonight, and we'll see you
Bye.
next month for the latest dead languages.
Thank
Bye.
you.
bye-bye.
Bye!